The Jerd Nation Podcast.
All right, welcome guys back to the Jerd Nation Podcast here on GGTV. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification button on Facebook. Like, share, follow. We thank you in advance. So we're going to get to this topic, and it's going to be an awesome topic, I believe. It is, who do you think, guys, is the most, to you, overrated band? Codester, you are first, bro.
I'm going to go with Guns N' Roses, man. They have one good album. It's basically their greatest hits album. There's nothing but trouble with Axl. And then you saw when Miles Kennedy replaced him, he did better on their songs than Axl did. I like a few of the songs. Like, just because I say a band's overrated doesn't mean I don't like some of their stuff, but I don't care to listen to anything that's not on Appetite for Destruction outside of You Could Be Mine. And that's just because I'm a Terminator fan that I like You Could Be Mine. I never got it. I don't understand the hype in them. I think Slash is awesome, but Axl kills the band for me. He's such a shitty singer. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe you guys disagree, but his voice, his vocals are such shit to me. I can't understand why people love him and defend him.
What'd you say, Mark?
I couldn't agree more. Because I could only think of one song that I could actually stomach by Guns N' Roses, and that was Welcome to the Jungle. And that was the only reason why I like that, is because our high school football team used Welcome to the Jungle to run out to. So that's the only reason I could only stomach it.
More like Welcome to 0-10. All right, that was Cody's choice, was of Guns N' Roses. Mark, go ahead, bro.
Well, I actually seen this band in concert. And I still think they're some of their music's okay, but the most overrated band to me is Nickelback.
Okay. Whoa, we don't slander Nickelback around here.
No, he's right. You're right, though. You're right.
Explain why, Mark.
Creed, Tim.
No,
okay, I want to hear what Mark says.
Out of a handful of songs, I mean, they just seems they was not. I just couldn't stomach them. I mean, after a handful of songs, and doing interviews with them and radio and everything like that, just Chad Kroeger was just a dick. I mean, he has a great voice, but he was just a complete jerk to do interviews with when I was working on radio. And just the band in general was just kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
They're like a modern day Poison.
What? Wow.
Yeah. All the Poison songs were about the same shit. Sex.
Mm-hmm. They're like a modern day My Pick. And I'll kind of branch that over into My Pick. My pick is Bon Jovi. And the reason I don't like Bon Jovi, I've never liked Bon Jovi, all their songs are exactly the same. Melodically, they're exactly the same. The lyrics are the same. It's the exact same thing. Every song is the same. I've never been able to listen to them, especially songs back to back, because it's exactly the same shit. And I feel like that's what Mark's saying about Nickelback, is it's the same thing over and over and over and over again.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know they have people out there that love them to death, and that's all fine. It's all fine and good, fine and dandy. But outside of a handful of songs, I mean, what do you have?
Well, I mean, they sold out. They did. You go back to their original first album, the very first one. That was so raw and original. It was fantastic. They sold out, and it became just rock pop, and on the radio. And that's, I mean, and a lot of bands do that. I mean, that's okay. That's fine. And some of their songs are still good, but it's nothing like how they started.
No.
But if you play This Is How You Remind Me, everybody jams out to. But that kind of goes with Mark's argument, is it really truly, same thing with honestly probably all of our picks. It comes down to the bands being the same, their songs all being the same. If you love it, like AC/DC is a prime example. Most people either really love their stuff, or they say it's the same shit every song, just backwards riffs. But I mean, Nickelback had its place in rock for sure. I mean, I get why people say they hate him. I don't mind people saying they hate them. I just don't trust people that say they've never liked a Nickelback song, because all of us have at some point. Like Lucas. Lucas started pointing his finger when I said, if you play This Is How You Remind Me, everybody will jam out. Everybody likes that song.
Yeah.
Nickelback is one of those bands that they're overrated. They get so much shit that it's almost underrated them on how bad. They're just the band that everyone picks on to pick on. I'm not a Nickelback fan, but like their music is not as bad as a lot of people say it is.
So what you're saying is that Nickelback is to music what Mark is to GGTV.
That might hit Mark at home, considering that he has a hard feelings for Chad Kroeger.
Keep chewing that Twizzler.
I got to say, I got to take a drink of my Grey Goose and Fanta here. Hang on.
Lucas, my man, what band do you think is overrated?
I'm sorry to all the older people, but the Beatles. I've never enjoyed a single song the Beatles have ever put out, and I think that if they would have had any band come over from Britain at that time, they would have had the same success.
I'm here to say I 100% agree, and my theory for it is Paul McCartney's best song isn't even a Beatles song. It's Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
And that's not a Beatles song. Like Drake said, I got more slaps than the Beatles. He's right. Drake has better hits than the Beatles.
I think the Beatles, I mean, I agree with you guys. They did start a genre of music. Like, they really were the first boy band ever. I mean, they really were, but they didn't really revolutionize music. They revolutionized that boy band worship, really.
And I would rather listen to a lot of other boy bands.
Well, you got to remember who was before them. It was the Beach Boys who were the boy band, and then all of a sudden the Beach Boys heard in the grapevine there's this other group coming in from across the pond that is gonna people are 11, and those two Beach Boys and the Beatles always kind of went at it, and Beatles beat the crap out of them.
Well,
which is unfortunate because the Beach Boys are superior in every way music wise.
Well, and I agree with Lucas on that. I think you're right. The Beach Boys. The problem with the Beach Boys is it's the Beach Boys. Not everybody lives at the beach, so not everybody understood their musical approach. But then that was why the Beatles, I think, were so successful, is because their thoughts of I want to hold your hand and young love and all that was kind of something that generation grabbed onto and ran with. But I agree with you. I think musically, the Beach Boys were far superior to the Beatles.
You could kind of argue that without the face paint and all that, just being strictly what they were, that the Beach Boys were kind of the predecessor for gimmick bands. Just because all their stuff is, like you said, not everybody lived near a beach, so they couldn't all understand it.
Well, and I think the great gimmick bands, they find a way to appeal to the masses. Even, you take Kiss as a perfect example. Not everybody understands the concept of the face paint and all that stuff, but you listen to their music and, it's so relatable. I mean, it's just about drugs and music and dicks and stuff. I mean, everybody kind of gets it,
Yeah, kind of leads. That's a great segue to my band, who I think is overrated, and that's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I really sat down, I thought about it. I was like, dude, they suck. Their sound is the same. They're Westerners, they're West Coast guys, so that tells you everything. Their songs made no sense. Lyrically, they make no freaking sense. Almost like Bush. Bush's lyrics kind of don't make sense, but it's Bush that it sounds great. I can only, I can't even stomach Danny California anymore because, first of all, the radio just killed it. Radio killed that song. But no, it just, a guy like the lead singer for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, man, just the duck lips and just crap. I don't know. It's crap. It really
I like some of the Chili Peppers.
Californication is one of my favorite songs.
I'm sorry.
And most of Nirvana's music doesn't make much lyrical sense, but Nirvana is just amazing.
I disagree. I like Nirvana has, once again, they fall into the category that with Guns N' Roses. Nirvana is a tough one to digest because they only have one good album, and if you want to get their best of, just buy their Unplugged vinyl or their Unplugged album. Their MTV Unplugged performance is all that you need. But the thing with Nirvana is they kind of killed metal for a little bit and then brought grunge, and then grunge died completely. I don't know. I kind of agree with you, man. Like I like some of Nirvana's songs, but I think that I agree. I think they're kind of overrated. Like they have a few really good songs, but they kind of did more harm to music than good.
Oh wait, I don't think they're overrated at all. They're one of my favorite bands.
Well, Nirvana is one of those bands, and speaking, for us older guys, like you really had to go through the time period when they came out to really comprehend what they brought to music, because before that grungy sound and the things that they were saying were not things you heard anywhere on the radio. It wasn't anything that anybody was doing. It was, it was brand new. I never was a Nirvana fan personally, but like I saw Nirvana define so many kids because it was where they were in their lives, and like it helped them identify themselves, and I saw that. So like musically, they contributed more. I think if you're a little older, you can see the contributions a little bit more.
Nirvana is the ECW of music. They were ahead of their time when they came out, and kind of broke the ground for future bands. Like ECW was groundbreaking at the time. Like now everyone did like up until the PG era, obviously, everyone was doing hardcore matches, and ECW is the brand that started that. But me personally, I'd rather listen to Alice in Chains if I'm going to listen to that kind of genre.
Yeah, Nirvana was really ahead. I mean, they were light years ahead of their time, and they did usher in a new genre, and that was fine. I mean, I like Sammy. I was never really into Nirvana whatsoever. Foo Fighters are much better to me.
I don't like Foo Fighters. That I've noticed that though. Like it seems there's like 4 bands all in the '90s time frame that I've noticed. Like people only like they pick one of. Like you always hear Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Alice in Chains. Seems to be like the 4. Who said something?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, that would be Smashing Pumpkins too. Like I like Pearl Jam, but like my dad fucking hates Pearl Jam. My dad hates all grunge music though because he said it killed metal, and which is weird because you still hear metal and you don't hear grunge really anymore. But that's like you said, it's a product of its time. It came out. It's weird because on one hand it was ahead of its time, but it also came out at the right time.
Well, there you go, guys. That is our take on the bands that we think are the most overrated. Hey, if you guys disagree or agree, let us know in the comments below, wherever you're watching, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. Just let us know what you think. And with that said, thanks for joining and watching this episode. I'll see you guys later.
The Jerd Nation Podcast.